Good morning, you guys. I wanted to get ready together and talk about something that I'm going through right now, which is PMDD. I share a lot with you guys, but I usually share after I have gone through something and not when I'm actually in the middle of it. PMDD is premenstrual dysphoric disorder, a more severe form of PMS, but that is not all that it is. I feel like that's a downplayed version of what it is. PMDD happens in your luteal phase, just like PMS, the 2 weeks before your period, and then once your period starts, the symptoms usually go away. This was my first cycle tracking for ovulation and not tracking for when my period is starting, because I wanted to see if I could tell when the PMDD was actually happening, and I was able to tell. As soon as I ovulated, all of my symptoms came flying in. Just wanted to kind of talk about it today and shed some light on it, because it is a really debilitating thing to go through. A lot of women don't realize that they even have it. So I hope this video just reaches the right audience. I was reading up on a few articles about PMDD, like the chemical effects of it. The decline of your progesterone levels is what triggers the PMDD. Feels like my body is just allergic to what's happening in my reproductive system. I experience the physical effects, the mental effects, the emotional effects. I've struggled with this since I could ever remember, probably since middle school. I didn't get diagnosed with PMDD until I think like 2 years ago. So I also have ADHD. If you have ADHD, you're way more likely to have PMDD. With my ADHD symptoms mixed with PMDD, it just feels like a disaster. I already struggle with depression and anxiety. That does stem from my ADHD, but during my PMDD cycle, it all amplifies. My anxiety is super bad. My depression has been really bad. Whenever I was younger and undiagnosed, I struggled a lot with suicidal thoughts, a lot of brain fog. It just feels like something else is inside of me and I can't do anything about it. The physical effects are also really draining. Chronic fatigue, the muscle aches are awful. I just want to sleep all of the time. There's been times where I've woken up at 11 or 12 because I was so exhausted. There's a lot of rage that comes with it. There's a lot of just emotional instability that comes with it. Honestly, really sad to go through. I don't wish this upon anybody. And I talk to people about my PMDD and ADHD combined. This is the way I explain it. The normal base level for somebody is right here, and my base level is down here because of my ADHD. So when I take my ADHD medication, it brings me up to here. When I am going through PMS or PMDD, I drop another level. When I take my ADHD medication or my antidepressants, it only brings me up back to my regular baseline. So the 2 weeks before my period, it's awful. It feels like my medication doesn't work. I don't know why I'm crying right now. It could absolutely ruin my life within the 2 weeks before my period. I don't know why I'm crying. It's so hard to stay on track. It's hard to remain positive or remain in a routine. There's a lot of times in my life where I have just completely ruined relationships or ruined something that I've worked really hard for because I couldn't maintain it within the 2 weeks before my period. The feeling of hopelessness, the feeling of despair, the feeling of just wanting to give up on everything is so sad, and it's draining because you go through it every month and it's literally half your life. Like, it's half of a month every single month. I hate that I have to go through it. I hate that anybody has to go through it. Touched on this before very lightly, but I also developed a little bit of an eating disorder because of this whenever I was undiagnosed. Such a lonely thing to go through. Even if you're not physically alone, you mentally feel so alone. I don't want to get out of bed. I don't want to see anybody. I don't want to work on anything. Some things that have helped me is tracking my cycle, tracking when I'm ovulating, because that's the biggest thing that I need to know is when I'm ovulating, because that is when my PMDD starts. I take Midol for the muscle cramps. I also am on a low dose of antidepressants for it. I try to communicate with my partner and with my family and really anybody that's around me what is kind of going on so they can give me a little bit of grace. I try to take this time to rest as much as I can, but that's really hard with the job that I have because I post my life every day. And I think that's why I'm sharing this, because I do post my life every day and it's just really hard during this time of the month. I feel like I'm succeeding work-wise so well until this time of the month, and then it just feels like everything that I worked for goes to shit because I can't do it. I am the provider for my family, so it's like there's just so many factors in it, and I feel like a failure during this time of the month. Other thing that helps me, and I know this isn't going to be everybody's cup of tea, but something that really helps me in every single aspect is gardening. If you don't agree with that, that's totally fine. That has helped me mentally, emotionally, physically. It's helped me every which way. Very grateful for that. I'm very pro gardening. I always have been. But I just wanted to share kind of where I'm at mentally right now. If you guys don't see a whole lot from me in the next week or two, that is what's going on. I also wanted to share all of this in case anybody watching is struggling with this and doesn't know what exactly is going on, or if you do know what's going on and you feel alone, because it is so lonely. Just know that you're not. Just know that I am here with you and I'm going through it with you, and so are a bunch of other women. Love you guys. I hope you have a great Saturday. We will talk soon.